to The Hypnotist, the show that gives you inside access to cutting-edge hypnosis with real clients facing genuine issues. Brought to you by the hypnotherapist demanded by celebrities, CEOs, and even royalty, Adam Cox. These recordings took place live from Adam's clinic in London's world-famous Harley Street. So, get yourself comfortable and enjoy today's episode of The Hypnotist.
This episode is brought to you by Indeed. Stop waiting around for the perfect candidate. Instead, use Indeed sponsored jobs to find the right people with the right skills fast. It's a simple way to make sure your listing is the first candidates see. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs have 4 times more applicants than non-sponsored jobs. So go build your dream team today with Indeed. Get a $75 sponsored job credit at Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply.
Have you ever thought about setting up your own business, becoming your own boss, but haven't actually done it yet? Maybe it feels daunting. Maybe there's a fear of failure or being embarrassed or being judged by other people. Adam here, and you're about to hear a hypnosis session on this thing specifically, because I was working with a client that was very successful doing social media marketing for some of the biggest brands in the world, but felt nervous and anxious about doing it for themselves. So actually, they had thought about it a lot, but they were very reluctant. And there's a great phrase called analysis paralysis, where you think about something so much that actually you end up doing less. And this client was in that trap of analysis paralysis. So what it does here in this hypnosis session is a form of creating 2 very different timelines. A timeline where they spend the next year thinking about running their own business, having their own agency, doing freelance stuff for other people, but just not doing it. And then a timeline where they do. And even if they have setbacks in that timeline where they do stuff, they become wiser, they become more experienced, they become much more knowledgeable about that sector. And then they get to compare 2 different versions of themselves. A version a year from now where they're kind of in the same place, but a year's gone by. And then a version of themselves a year of doing a lot of stuff, learning a lot of stuff, figuring out lots of stuff, solving problems as they go along, and how much better off they would be. And the irony is that the version of them that does a lot of stuff fails more frequently, but the failure is necessary for the feedback and the learning. So actually, in order to move forward, sometimes you have to be willing to make mistakes, have setbacks, have disappointed clients, fail, but learn from that. And by learning from that, you end up being infinitely better than you would have been had you not tried. And it has this connotation to one of my favorite movies based on the concept of a time loop, and that's Groundhog Day. In Groundhog Day, the Bill Murray character, because he knows every day is going to repeat, starts doing these kind of outlandish stuff because whatever happens, he can learn and then apply it the next day. And when you start thinking of life like that, where you either win or you learn, you get to move forward at a radically faster rate than if you're just on the sidelines, with trepidation and fear and just watching and observing other people, because you don't move forward. You either win or you learn. If you do stuff, you either get the result you want or the experience, which is one of my favorite belief systems. This session was created for an individual. It might be that your thing isn't a business. Maybe you want to be an actor or a singer or an author or an artist or something like that. It doesn't matter what the thing is. What matters is, are you actually doing anything that is aligned with that vision? Or are you on that kind of precipice where you're just waiting and hoping that something happens? If you have a future that you really desire and you're not implementing or doing things that align with that yet, then I think you'll get some value from this session. Obviously, it's business related for this client. So if you would benefit from a more bespoke, customized session, there will be a link in the description where you can schedule a free consultation call and we can explore working together. For now, though, find a quiet, comfortable place where you won't be disturbed, relax, and enjoy the session.
The Who's down in Who Newville were making their list, but some didn't know Walmart has the best brands for their gifts.
What about toys? Do they have brands kids have been wanting all year?
Yep, Barbie, Tony's, and Lego. Gifts that will make them all cheer.
Do you mean they have all the brands I adore?
They have Nintendo, Nespresso, Apple, and more.
What about...
So the Who answered questions from friends till they were blue. Each one listened and shouted, "From Walmart? Who knew?" Shop gifts from top brands for everyone on your list in the Walmart app.
Take a deep breath in. And as you breathe in that slow, long, relaxing breath. And as you exhale, just feel a sense of release, as if any tension or worries are leaving your body in your outward breath. Breathing in relaxation and exhaling tension. That's it. Eyelids getting heavier, jaw starting to loosen, neck and shoulders relaxing. That's it. And when you breathe in slightly deeper. And as you exhale, just continue the outward breath for longer than usual. Breathing out for longer, in for deeper. Each breath taking you deeper and deeper relaxed. The deeper you breathe, the more relaxed you become. And the more relaxed you become, the deeper you breathe. And as your body relaxes, your imagination awakens. And I want you to imagine keeping your body exactly where it is, and yet imagining that you're floating up out of yourself like an out-of-body experience. Perhaps you can even imagine seeing yourself like you're looking down on yourself, and allow that part, your imagination, to float to a different space and place in time. An impressive, ornamental garden with soft green grass and exotic trees on a day with sunshine and blue skies. Just imagine floating to that place and touching down, barefoot on the soft grass. Imagine wearing any clothing appropriate to be in that warm, ornamental garden. Imagine smelling the fragrance of different flowers, trees. And I want you to get a sense that here, your imagination can explore possibilities, wonderful possibilities that enhance your life. And I want you to imagine somewhere in that garden is a pathway that splits into two like a fork in the road. And I want you to imagine that the left-hand path represents more of the same. Imagine this left-hand pathway is a future of intentions, but not action, of thinking, but not doing. I want you to get a sense that that is a future of more of what you have been doing, thinking about things in a certain way that feel paralyzing. And the right-hand pathway is a version of you that just does it. That launches, that works, that does things. And just imagine this pathway on either side is representing 1 year worth of time. And I want you to imagine seeing that first version of you walking down that pathway, and you're the observer. I want you to see yourself caught in a fear cycle. But what if I don't deliver? What if I fail? What if it doesn't work out? What if people judge me? Just observe that version of you looking stuck. See that version of you thinking, planning, but never doing. That version of you always has a reason why not. And notice that version of you is able to do incredible things in their job, but not for themselves. That version of you is fearful, hesitant. That version of you thinks that if you just think more, plan more, research more, you can mitigate those risks. But as the observer, you can see that it just creates more friction, more hesitancy. And I want you to see that months go by, and a year from now, imagine seeing yourself with the same plans, the same goals, but 1 year of experience has been wasted, lost. Some people believe that you either win or you learn, but in this timeline, neither happened. You didn't have that successful business, but you didn't learn from it either. Hesitation, procrastination, is the thief of experience. But more importantly, see that some of that enthusiasm has worn off. That version of you has become a bit more jaded. That version of you now has loads of excuses and reasons why it wouldn't have worked anyway, but you never tried. And if you get a sense that this is a future you're keen to avoid, let me know by nodding your head. That's it. And then just rewind it all. Find yourself at that fork in the road, there in that garden. And this time see a different version of you about to take the right-hand path. There is something about your expression that seems decisive. There's something about that version of you that couldn't care less about failing. Not because you want to fail, but because you know that it's impossible for everything to be perfect. Therefore, why try? That version of you believes that you either win or you learn, and therefore you can't lose. It either goes the way you want, or you get invaluable, priceless experience, wisdom, and feedback to improve the probability the next time. That version of you looks courageous, unstoppable, determined. There is a look of deep resolve in those eyes. And then see what that version of you does over the next few days. And maybe it's choosing a company name, building a website, having a social channel, building a pipeline, a funnel, a way of acquiring clients, tiers of packages, working with clients in such a way that you get to find out what works. And I want you to see that version of you starts doing things, planning campaigns, creating things. That version of you is doing it initially in your free time. And that's fine. That version of you considers this a hobby. It could be a very lucrative hobby. And I want you to see every success gives you a spring in your step, and every setback gives you pause for thought, deep reflection, analysis. What can you learn from it? The successes recharge your batteries, and the setbacks make you wiser, more knowledgeable, more credible. And I want you to see that initially, it's not about making money. Some people believe that you learn before you earn. So in the first few weeks, see you learning at a faster rate, not through theory, but through experience. That's what you're learning. And before long, you've got clients paying you because you're worth it. The value is there. Each client becomes a case study, a testimonial, an anecdote, more evidence as to how you can create value. As time goes on, you become more discerning. You don't take any client, only the ones that you know that your approach really helps. Not everyone is right for you, and you're not right for everyone. See the discernment, and then see, some point perhaps in that 12-month period, you've reached escape velocity. Because when more revenue comes through your new business than your current job, then there is an opportunity cost to continue that job. It's costing you to have that job, so you end it, knowing that you don't need it, because it's so much more fulfilling and satisfying to do your own thing than doing it for someone else. And I want you to see a year from now, there is now 2 different versions of you. The version of you that thought and planned, analyzed, but didn't do anything. And the version of you with a year's worth of priceless experience. And notice, the one with the experience and the one with the success also had way more failures, because failures weren't the problem. They were an essential part of the journey of developing more skills, more insight, and more discernment. And now go back to the fork in the road and decide, which version of you do you want to be? But the real decision won't be what you decide. It will be based on what you do. If you analyze but don't execute, you chose the left-hand path. If you do, you try, you execute, you took the right-hand path. Allow your actions to make the decision for you. You set the intention, and reality is your decision. That's it. I want you to imagine leaving that fork in the road, knowing that that will happen over the next few days and weeks anyway. For now, it's time to float back to your present, but you do so with a new level of self-belief, a new feeling of tenacity and determination, a new resolve to believe in your future self. It's time to float back from that garden, back to your physical body. Take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your nose. Just wiggle your fingers and wiggle your toes as I now count from 1 to 10 to awaken you. Starting to count. 1, 2, 3, waking up. 4, 5, 6, more alert. 7, 8, open your eyes, open your eyes. 9, 10, wide awake, wide awake, wide awake. Thank you so much for joining me on today's episode of The Hypnotist. If you've enjoyed this episode or got some value from it, please give it a 5-star rating and review. And maybe you know someone that would also benefit from this particular episode, in which case share the episode with them so they can also get the benefit too. And if you would like to listen to this episode where it's just the hypnosis, so no intro, no outro, no explanation, just the hypnosis and completely ad-free, there will be a link in the description where you can subscribe at a very low cost and only get access to the hypnosis. So if that's of interest, please check that out. Thank you again for being a regular listener of The Hypnotist, and I'll see you again soon for more.